How can work schedules be affected by where one lives on a global scale? The sanctity and preeminence of work lie at the heart of the country's politics, economics, and social interactions. Quoted by Derek Thompson in his article, A World Without Work. This quote inspired my thinking as to why work schedules around the world are not uniform and what factors alter these. After thorough research, I came to a conclusion that there are three major factors that can change one's work schedule because of where they are located in the world, and those are lifestyle-related exposures, cultural beliefs, and economic-related affairs. In the 2016 study done by the British Journal of Cancer, they concluded that there was no correlation between cancer risk and the long work hours that people work around the world. However, I found this to be invalid because they did not list or take into account the environments and the fields of the workers. They were unknown. Different diseases are more probable to affect people based on the area they're living in. The CDC estimated that 11,310 lives in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia were taken during the 2014 Ebola outbreak. However, only one life was taken because of Ebola in the United States. The British Journal of Cancer tested their study without regard to divergent geographic exposures, falsely assuring the public that there was no correlation between cancer and work hours, when it was only done in Europe and very vaguely so. SOS Children's Villages Africa says most diseases will cause severe debilitation, which limits the sufferer's ability to earn a living. Diseases continue to disable and claim the lives of many. A fraction taken from Table 14 produced by the World Health Organization shows the top 10 diseases that affect people in different regions of the world. Our Africa states, HIV and AIDS kills a large number of adults, including the breadwinners in any society, affecting national productivity because people can be ill for a long time. Disease frequency in Africa has played a prominent role in cultural belief shaping throughout their society because of the increase of orphan children among the world. Work schedules for young children in Africa can look vastly different than that of the children raised in first world countries. Shannon Lafreniere, author from the New York Times Africa International Department, reports a first-hand account from 6-year-old Mark Kwato, leased to Mr. Taki as a boat hand, who works 14 hours a day, endures frequent beatings and close starvations. Parents who can't afford their children usually sell them into slavery, domestic slavery, if they do not have enough money. For example, Restavek children in Haiti are leased as domestic servants by parents because of their glimpse of hope for education, nourishment, and shelter. When really, frequent beatings, starvation, and no pay happen, similar to what 6-year-old Mark in Africa described. The International Labor Organization estimates that at least 250 million children between the ages of 5 and 14 are working. In first world countries such as the United States, Germany, France, and England, in these countries, the practice of child labor does not happen. Instead, average minimum age for employment is 16. Variance of beliefs shown throughout the world relates to what Thompson said, that the importance and dominance of the amount of work being put in falls back on the country's social interactions. Economists from Macastre, Arizona State, and Goethe University found that the USA has lower taxes than taxes in the US are substantially lower than taxes in Europe. Studies suggest that the higher tax burden reduces incentives to put in more hours of work. This graph shows the hours worked per person per week in the selected countries. Economists from McMaster, Arizona State, and Goff University found that Swiss work habits are most similar to Americans, while Italians are least likely to be at work, putting in 29% fewer hours per year than Americans. These are my solutions. The first one is more healthcare workers in Africa and implementing acceptance of more efficient technology. Sub-Saharan Africa averages 1.15 healthcare workers for every 1,000 of its citizens. The implication to this solution, however, is that African culture is deeply rooted in the past, and most Native Africans believe that traditional treatments are better than modern cures, and their unwillingness to accept the modern cures renders the ability to heal society. My second solution comes from Thompson in A World Without Work, when he says that implementing free market economies and creating political liberty will lessen child labor. Author John Tierney from Opposing Viewpoints expresses his opinion that in developing parts of the world, child labor is needed the most. So by implementing these into the third world countries and developing countries, it will decrease the amount of child labor, which is a huge issue in today's society. My third solution is to lower taxes to promote more hours of work throughout the world. Moving forward, instead of a large amount of a region's population being hindered to sickness, more innovation would be flowing in all parts of the globe, keeping people in the workforce rather than focusing on global conflict. The balance of economies would become more equal as well, creating a sense of peace and equality throughout politics. This will require the cooperation of developed, successful, and thriving countries around the world, but I think we can do it. Thank you.
Okay, Lauren, the first question for you is, how did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
I thought the perspectives that I had flowed really well, and I could connect them all together, especially because a man who wrote an article for the stimulus packet, he came up with one of my solutions that I implemented into my presentation. The different perspectives from Africa related to all the statistics that I found for the amount of work being put in European countries and the first world countries as well.
Okay, and then the other one would be, what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this same topic?
I would advise them to narrow down their choices more, because my issue was sort of broad, which could be a limiting factor of it. But I would just encourage them to narrow their options, focus in on specific countries rather than 3 different continents of the world, which I focused on, which was North America, Africa, and Europe, because that's really broad and it was kind of hard to just tie all those 3 together and put them in a presentation.
Thank you.